Today's guest conversation is with Mitch Thompson, the head baseball coach for the Baylor University Bears. Here's episode 44 of the Baseball Forward podcast. Coach Mitch Thompson, good, happy Monday morning to you, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Ross. Good, doing great. Thanks for having me.
Man, it's good seeing you. And, I'll lead with this. Baylor, I love Baylor is as always to me has been just such a phenomenal baseball school, and always I remember coaching and seeing you out, at games and stuff like that. You have got to be one of the most loved guys in the game of baseball. Do you get that? So, I mean, do you have a mean bone in your body?
Oh, I'm not so sure that I appreciate your sentiments. I wish that I felt like everybody play. I'm not sure that's right, but yeah, no. It's been a good run and it's been a good life, and I'm enjoying where I'm at and what we're building here again, and we're having a good time.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. I know you guys are opening up this weekend, so happy first week of baseball. Hey, when the Super Bowl was over last night, I was like, oh, thank goodness. Let's get going with baseball. You guys open up on Friday against Youngstown State. How are we feeling this time of year, Coach Thompson?
Yeah, no, it's an exciting time, right? Obviously, the start of the season. Everybody's 0-0, and everybody thinks that they're going to be good, and that's the way it is. We're excited. I like our club. I like I like what I'm seeing from our guys. They truly care about each other. There's a real love there for each other. They've worked incredibly hard. The talent continues to get better, both on the mound and position player wise. The competition's better every day. We can get the weather to cooperate at all.
And we're having I get you. And it's not supposed to be very nice this coming week. So having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we'll work through it here, Coach. So
Sorry about that.
no worries at all. We'll get the most out of this. Believe me. This time of year, man, you're a baseball lifer. You have been around Baylor. You were at McLennan. You have been around the game of college baseball for a long time. Does it ever get old opening day? Does it always feel are you always excited? You get nervous? What do you feel as opening day arrives?
Oh no, I mean when the spring starts, you start spring practice and you're kind of counting down the days. I mean this is what we've got to do, and you're just trying to plan everything out to the point of are we ready to go when opening day gets here? And it's been a great process again this year. And yeah, Friday I'll have all the jitters and the butterflies and the happy feelings and the excitement that everybody else in the country will. I don't think it ever gets old. I mean, I'm one of the fortunate few that's never been to work a day in my life. I've got to do exactly what I wanted to do, and coach college baseball and try and impact kids' lives and help them maximize their abilities on the field while planning ahead for the future and trying to grow men. And so, no, it's incredibly rewarding, and I'm very excited about opening day again this year.
Well, I'll say this. I have two boys, an 11 and a 10-year-old. They love the game, and I will be bringing them down to Waco. We live in McKinney, so we'll be down to Waco to watch a game, this year. I always tell them, guys, if loving baseball is watching baseball. So I want to ask you that. When I say loving baseball is watching baseball, to kind of the younger generation or even the players out there, how important is watching baseball in terms of your development?
I think it's hugely important. I've seen it over the course of years. You watch coaches' kids and how they develop over their time. From growing and being a young kid, coming to camps, seeing games, showing up at a practice. I've seen coaches' kids just really blossom and take off, and their love of it. their knowledge of the game. They see things that other people don't see sometimes, and that's just from being around it so much. So I think for young kids, that's a huge thing. And parents, you've got to watch the games. A lot of it's interesting to me that a lot of college kids, a lot of high school kids, they don't watch baseball on TV even as much. When I grew up, there was the Saturday game of the week. It was Joe Garagiola, and Tony Kubek on the game of the week, and I always got angry because it was always the Yankees, and I didn't understand that, but these kids now, there's baseball on TV all the time, and now we have college baseball on so much with ESPN Plus as well, and everybody can stream it right into your house, and for example, every one of our games will be on ESPN Plus this year. Every game will be televised. So how cool is that? And I just think for kids, there's so much to learn just by watching the games, paying attention, seeing the seeing the competitiveness of it, and they can gain a lot of knowledge that they can translate onto the field. You see kids mimic swings, you see kids mimic deliveries and do all those things, and that's fun as a kid. Sometimes you get those ideas from watching games. So I encourage kids to get out and see a lot, and high school kids, they need to get out and see college baseball. You want to see college, you need to know where you're trying to get to if that's what you're trying to do. And what you probably end up seeing is you see that the game's bigger, faster, stronger than you think. And in our game, I think college baseball is probably at a new high. Probably, this is kind of the golden age of college baseball, to be honest with you. And well, think about it. For the last 3 or 4 years, there's only been 20 rounds of the draft.
That's right.
So there's more kids that used to sign professionally that are now in college. And now we've got guys 5 and 6 years old, 5th and 6th years of college baseball. 23-year-olds are tough to beat compared if you're playing with a team of 18-year-olds. So,
that's right.
I just encourage the high school kids to get out, but little kids to get around the game as much as possible. It's a huge deal.
Talking with Mitch Thompson on the Baseball Forward podcast today. Mitch Thompson of Baylor, the Bears. I remember a name back in my playing days, Jared Theodorakis.
Oh yeah,
that dude threw gas. I remember that. Coach Thompson, I want to ask you this: like, as your season's firing up, are the players this time of year? Do they? What you mentioned ESPN Plus. Every game on ESPN Plus. That's amazing. Are they aware of that? Do they kind of live for it? Do you have to tell them to pump the brakes? Do they feel like they're celebrities? Because it is a different game than it was. So talk to me about their awareness of the media coverage in baseball these days.
Well, I think that they're obviously aware of it. I don't know if they feel like they're celebrities, but I think that they pay attention and they know that the games are going to be on. And things have changed over the last several years, even the last 5 years, with social media and Twitter and X or whatever now, videos from all over the country of players all the time doing something, marketing themselves and doing this stuff. So they're just they're more aware. They're more aware of that. But the thing that we were talking about earlier, just watching Major League Baseball and watching guys play and coming to a college game and watching guys play. I would say this, that if a high school kid were to show up at a field and come down and be around and get as close to the game as you can, as close to the field as you can, as close to the dugout as you can, and just listen and watch and pay attention, you'd see guys that are 6'3", 220, 6'6", 225, big, strong, physical dudes that you get around, and these high school kids need to look at themselves sometimes and go, hey, I've got to get bigger, faster, stronger.
Sure.
There's a big difference between where I'm at right now and where they're at right now. And so if that's where I'm going, that's what I need. You just got to have that knowledge. But our players are aware of the media attention that, they'll get used to being interviewed a little bit, doing those type of things. And I hope they get used to doing it a whole lot more as we continue to progress and keep building the program.
Let's go. You will. You will. I have the utmost faith in Coach Thompson running the Baylor Bears back to Omaha. I feel it, Coach. Is Baylor is a special university, okay?
Yeah.
And I want to know that because you spent a lot of time in the Waco area. You were at McLennan, you were at Baylor, then you were at McLennan for 8-9 years, and just McLennan is an absolute machine power. So being back at Baylor, are you? I want to know the difference for the audience out there, because McLennan, I think of McLennan baseball and I think of dudes, and I think of Baylor and I think of dudes. So from your perspective, what is the difference between McLennan baseball players versus Baylor baseball players?
Yeah, well, I won't go into the difference specifically with McLennan and Baylor. I'll just say this. I think, I've been in Waco for 30 years. I mean, this is my first season of college baseball in Waco was 1995.
Wow.
So this is 2025. So that's 30 years, right? And maybe that's my 31st year. I'm not sure if I go back and start on the counting, but so I've been around a long time, and junior college baseball is a really good route. It's I enjoyed my time coaching junior college baseball. We had some really good players, did some really neat things with facilities, and was at a place that guys, I could sell and knew that we could get them onto the next place, get them drafted.
Yeah.
So there's great opportunity in junior college baseball. And we had great success there. I mean, while I was there, we won a national championship. It was fun to, 3 out of 4 years we had the top junior college draft pick in the NJCAA come out of our program. So guys were getting better, and having guys show up that were undrafted out of high school and then leaving your program 2 years later as a millionaire was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And so it was always fun to watch those guys compete and go. So it's great level. Probably one of the differences I'd just say is just the additional support staff that's around the Division I level. We have so many people here who impact our players. When I was at the junior college, I'm the head coach. I'm the team travel guy. I'm planning team travel. I'm handling the budget. I'm the academic counselor. We're keeping up with our field. We're scheduling our field for games. I'm doing all that, all these things. You're the dorm director. You're having to take care of all these things. And at the Division I level, there's just so many people. I'll give you an example here at Baylor. We've got 3 full-time assistant coaches. I've got a director of operations. I've got a director of pitching and player development who does our analytics and our video and all that stuff that are full-time paid positions. I've got a team chaplain position, where we have a paid position for a team chaplain, and I have 2 guys that are kind of splitting that job that are great friends with me, because we're trying to invest in the entire person. And we're building champions for life. And so there's so many people, an academic counselor, a full-time strength coach, that are just with baseball. And so, golly, there's so many different hands. For me, my job is to try and manage all of it, try and bring them all together so that we're all serving the players together to the highest level that we can. And that's different between the junior college level and the Division I level. The other thing I would say is the facilities, for the most part. Now, there's some really nice junior college facilities, but there's some really tough places to go play as well. The crowd support's obviously different. The stadiums are obviously different. Sometimes the playing surfaces are different. But that's some of the things that make the junior college experience fun too, is because they're building a level of toughness that's sometimes not seen at every Division I school as well. you can get spoiled. You can get spoiled at the Division I level quickly if you're not careful. All the amenities, all the things, team nutritionist, mental training guys, the whole shooting match. So those are kind of some of the differences, but both are great levels and both are really serving the players, and I think that both levels are probably as good as they've ever been. I think there's more talented players at the junior college level than ever before because there's more talented players at the Division I level, and it just keeps filtering down. And so lots of levels to play college baseball and keep your dreams alive and have a chance to develop and find out just how good you can be.
Talking with Coach Mitch Thompson of the Baylor Bears today on the Baseball Forward podcast. Coach, you've been around the game a long time. You've seen a lot of players, man. You put a lot of guys into the draft. You put a lot of guys into the major league level. So your eyes have seen the game at a very, very high level. I'd be curious at this stage, when you're out evaluating guys and your staff's evaluating guys, what are the things that stand out for someone to get Coach Thompson's attention at Baylor? What types of things are you looking for?
Well, we want to go see everybody we recruit, and I think most schools are like that. You've got to put your own eyes on them. You've got to kind of know what you're looking at, And I would be leery if I'm a kid, and somebody is recruiting you, and they haven't seen you play in person.
Sure.
They're doing it off of a Twitter video, which may be your best swing of your entire life, and all of a sudden they think that that's who you are. I always kind of when I'm talking to players, I think that's been something for us that's always been a feather in our cap, because our coaches like to go recruit. We like to be at fields. We like to see players play. You're looking for separators. You're looking for tools, no question. Physical ability, no question. Physical size, no question. Bigger, faster, stronger is always better. But that doesn't mean you can't have a little guy. You can have a little guy on your team, but he's going to have to do something that really gets your attention. I think players need to understand that they never know when somebody's watching. You never know who's at the ballpark, and you've got to play the game with a passion and an energy, because we as coaches are putting our families' livelihoods in the hands of the 18 to 20-year-old players that we're recruiting. So, it's a pretty important deal for us.
Sure.
We want to make sure we're getting the right guys. This is a big deal. But you never know. So how you handle your successes says a lot about who you are, how you handle your failures. Can you be humble when you're successful and be a good team guy? Can you not show your butt and be poopy pants over in the dugout when you're struggling? Are you still engaged?
Yes.
With your team. I've watched the guys before. I used to always like to see guys that came as they're leaving the ballpark. I may be walking into the ballpark and I go, "Hey, what was the score?" And it's amazing how many kids don't know the score of the game that they just played.
Wow.
Now they'll know that, hey, I was 3 for 4,
wow,
or I was 2 for 3 and scored a run. But what was the score? What was the score of the game?
Wow.
That kind of always amazes me, because kids have just played so much about it. For us, it's going to be at this level. When you get to this level, it's about winning.
Yep.
It's about winning games. It's about developing players, but winning's important. So we're looking for competitors. I want guys who are consistent. I want guys who are the same guy every day. They understand that the game is hard, but they're going to play with unbridled emotion, not emotion, but energy. I want guys who show that they love the game just because, man, here I am. The competition's awesome.
Yes.
And we've recruited a lot of guys over the years that when you're talking about them, you say, this kid, it doesn't matter if they're ahead 11-0 or behind 11-0. This guy's going to play really hard.
Love it.
We like that guy. And so we're going to give that guy an added little thought. He may be lacking something, but if he's got that with him, that's a feather in his cap. So players got to keep developing their skills, their tools, but everything matters. Are you kicking the dog as you're walking out of the ballpark? Or you're showing disrespect to your parents as you're walking out of the ballpark? If you don't respect your parents, how in the world are you going to respect us as coaches when we have you on our team? And so all those things matter. But yeah, play to win, man. Those guys who like to play to win, those guys stand out. And seriously, when you play with energy on the field, when you play with energy and the competition is what you're loving, you stand out like there is a spotlight on you on the field. You are a beacon of energy. It's easy to see, because we might be out watching summer league baseball and it's 100 degrees out there and there's 9 guys on the field or 8 guys on the field that are kind of going through the motions. Man, it's hot. And then there's that other guy out there that he is all engaged. He is all in. He loves the moment. He's showing, I'm 17, 18 years old and I'm tough as nails, man. And I love this stuff.
Yeah.
We're gonna want to recruit those type guys. So tools are big, mentality's big, makeup's huge, competitiveness is huge. You just and you don't know that until you get out and you see a kid play in person. So that's why it's important for us. If I'm a kid and somebody's recruiting me off of Twitter video, man, I got to be concerned about that, because they don't even know who I am.
Sure.
And if you don't know who you are, then you're not going to stick with that guy very long.
Wow. That's a good point.
Well, yeah. And for a kid, imagine if I was to tell somebody, I always kind of correlated to this. I used to say this to kids. If I told you that I have this beautiful blonde girl that I want to introduce you to, and I mean, she is knocked out, drop dead gorgeous. You start creating in your head this picture in your mind as to who this girl is.
Sure.
And then when I introduce you to her and she doesn't meet that made up picture in your head, then you're disappointed in it. It kind of works that same way with coaches when we're recruiting players.
Yeah.
This guy on Twitter video, he looked unbelievable. And then we go watch him play, or we get him on our campus and he's not playing quite like that. He doesn't match that picture that I created in my head off of that one little glimpse, that one little video. I don't like him as much as I thought I did. That's a bad place for the kid to be. So if I'm a kid, I would want to make sure that whoever's recruiting me has seen me multiple times, that they've seen me do well. They've seen me have a hard game. They've seen me stink. They know who I am, because I think that gives them the most confidence that at least they know who I am and they know my abilities and they want me. That's a good thing then.
That makes total sense. I want to take this because, man, I've watched you for a while now from afar, and always admired the way you handled yourself. Always admired, guys that have played for you. Always have said such amazing things about you. And I want to bring it up because I think it's important to the audience that's listening. We're talking with Coach Mitch Thompson of Baylor today. I want my sons playing for a guy that I trust. I want my sons playing for a guy that's fair. And quite honestly, I'll say it straight up. You're a man of faith. I'm a man of faith. And I want to know the role that your faith plays in your baseball life.
Yeah, well, I think it plays a big role. And I'm really blessed to be at a place here like Baylor where we can express that without any reservation.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm a man of faith and I'm far from perfect. I'm a sinner that fails often. And but I do know where I'm going, and I always kind of put it like this: if I think that the 3 most important decisions that a kid will ever make in their life is who do they decide Jesus is?
Wow.
Okay, who is he? Who is Jesus? Who am I going to marry? And those 2 are definitely the top 2 decisions that you're ever going to make. Mm-hmm. If I say that I love my players, then if my faith is that important to me, and I think it's the most important decision that anybody will ever make in their life, who do you say Jesus is? Then I've got to share that with these guys. If I love my players and I believe in my faith, I've got to share it with them. And so we try to do that, and I fail at it miserably sometimes. I mean, like I said, I'm so far from perfect, but I am forgiven. Thank God.
Amen.
But we're at a place that we're at a place here where we can share our faith and it matters. This school was built on that, and it's one of our four pillars here of building champions for life is the spiritual development of our players. And we've had some really cool moments. I'll give an example. I mean, one of the coolest things that I've ever seen we had happen here this fall. I mean, we had 7 players that were baptized on our field.
Wow.
And it was 100% player led, 100% player initiated. Guys are going to our team's Bible study with our 2 chaplains that are leading that, and guys are talking to each other and growing their faith together, and sharing, and one kid says, "Hey, I've never been baptized. I would like to be baptized." And so the other guy goes, "Well, let's get you baptized." And so they go to our chaplains, and our chaplains come to me, and I'm absolutely, let's go. Yes. And that, then they said, well, where do you want to have the baptism, coach? I said, well, where do the guys want to be baptized? This is a personal decision for them.
Amen.
Do they want to do it in the Brazos River? Do they want to do it in the Student Life Center? Do they want to do it at my pool in my backyard at my house? How do we want to do it? They want to do it at the field. Great. And what was happening was we have players who are sharing their faith with their teammates, and they're helping to bring some of their other teammates to Christ. Yes. How cool is that?
Yeah.
For eternal destination stuff, that's about as important. That's as important as anything we'll ever do. And so, we had 7 guys do that this
that's great.
This fall, and each one of them picked out another player on our team who had such a big impact for them to stand with them during that moment.
Wow.
And this guy made an impact. This guy told me these things. He spent this time with me on this. And I just thought it was an incredible thing for our program. But, at the end of the day, I always say, I love my players. And part of that is I just want to have a relationship with them forever.
Yeah.
I want to help them. I want to recruit them when they're 17, 18 years old, get them here. And then for the next 3 to 4 years, spend every day trying to help grow them into being the best baseball player they can be, the best student that they can be, the best man that they can be, help grow their faith. And then 25 years from now, I want to be their friend. I want to stay in touch. So my goal in this thing is at the end of my life, I want to have 250 players at my funeral telling my 2 daughters, "I loved your dad."
Wow.
And the only way that happens is if we serve our players. And so that's what we're trying to work on all the time. Sometimes our guys don't feel like it's serving.
Yeah.
But at the end, I think that they get it and they go, "Hey, they really did care about who I am. They cared about all these things. Not just how many hits I can get, how many strikeouts I can throw. They cared about me as a person." And so that's what we're continually trying to do.
Boy, and that's special because, as a former player, it becomes such a transactional world, we live in. What have you done for me lately? And when you can play for somebody that you trust, is leading you in the right direction, man, that makes all the difference in the world. Talking with Coach Mitch Thompson of the Baylor Bears today. Coach, I'm curious, college baseball, man, you said something it sticks with me. We're in a golden age. Wow, I like that. We are in a golden age with a lot of things right now. Praise Jesus. But where you stand right now with baseball, like the Division I level is getting older, players a little bit older. Man, you got to be it seems like you got to be more and more a finished product to be out on that field. Am I reading that right? I want to understand, like, the transfer portal, how that affects you guys.
Yeah.
If you're bringing the mix of younger guys, because it's the golden age, but it just seems like such a polished product. Does that mean they're all older guys? Give me your take on that.
Well, I mean, there's so many things in the game that make it difficult. You start talking about transfer portal, you start talking about NIL, you start talking about roster limitations. You start talking about revenue share, all these things. There's a lot of good. And all of these things probably all came into existence with good intentions, but not all of them are actually working out well when they're combined, where the good intentions take over. I mean, the transfer portal was good intentions. If kids in a bad situation, we're going to give them the opportunity to find a good situation. That sounds good, right?
Sure.
Yeah, great. NIL, kids are getting the opportunity to make money off of their name, image, and likeness. That sounds good. When you combine the transfer portal with NIL, and sometimes the unscrupulous way that can be handled in college baseball at times, not always a good thing.
Sure.
I mean, players being basically offered and bought right off of your team.
That's crazy.
To go play somewhere else based upon just money. And it's so there's different things that are kind of, you're having to continue to renegotiate your path and renegotiate the plan, and it seems like it continues to change. We go from a 40-man roster this year to probably a 34-man roster next year. That's going to make it even harder to make the team. It's going to make it even more difficult, which means there's more talent that just continues to filter down to Division II, to NAIA, Division III, junior college, all that. It just makes it difficult. I think that we have to, as an industry, and this is what I want to continue to focus on the player, and how can we do right by the player. But it's very difficult, because I think at some points in time too, you have coaches that are making now so much money. We've got guys in college baseball making $1 million a year as coaches, and I mean, they don't want to lose their job, man. It's about winning. And if whatever I got to do to win, I'm gonna have to do that. I've got to keep this job.
Sure.
Where sometimes I think we can lose sight of what's best for the kids, and I think the kids can lose sight too of what all a college education does for them and what all the college experience does for them. And you went to K-State, you played college baseball, and that those guys that you grew up with there and developed with, that those bonds are lifetime bonds. I'm continuously telling our players several things. Number one is I'm telling them teammates are forever. Teammates are forever, man. They don't go away. And I'll give you an example of that I just had given back to me this last December. I mean, in December we lost one of our former players, Willie Kemp. Willie's 37 years old, successful realtor, businessman in Castroville, Texas. Played here for 3 years, probably 06 to 09, somewhere in there, 07, 09, 06, 010, somewhere in there. Talented kid, great great family man, unbelievable person, right? I mean, Willie had developed brain cancer, and in 10 months he's gone. Beautiful wife, 5 beautiful kids, all under the age of 7 years old. That's real life, man. In going through that and seeing Willie go through that and knowing Willie was going through that, going to his funeral, seeing his family. One thing that blew me away was we had four former Baylor coaches that were at that funeral.
Wow.
Who coached him here. And he had 23 former teammates at that funeral.
Ooh, that gave me goosebumps.
And then the guys are getting together and we're raising money and we're spreading the word, and guys are raising the money to try and help Willie's wife and kids as they negotiate this terrible thing that of real life.
Yep.
And so I think kids today with the transfer portal, they can lose sight very quickly. If they're not really mature and not really grounded, they can lose sight of the things that matter. You know what matters? Relationships matter. People matter. And teammates are forever. And it's been fun for me to see Willie Kemp's teammates rally around his family. And now Willie's gone, and these people are still trying to take care of Willie.
Wow.
How cool is that? That's what this is all about. And
That's
so
right.
I think kids need to understand, man, grass isn't always greener somewhere else. I've got a pretty good deal here. I've got coaches I can trust. I've got coaches who have experience at developing players. I've got coaches who are good people, and I love the players I play with. They're my best friends. I love them. I'm not going to just go searching around to search around. I've got what I want. God has me in the right place. God's got a plan for me, and this is where I'm supposed to be. I just think kids they got to be really mature right now, because if they're not, they might have anything and everything thrown at them.
Golly.
that ends up taking you off course. And imagine if you're a kid now and you go from one college to another to another. Here's the deal. You never have those teammates. You're a hired assassin, basically.
That's right.
You're coming in, you're milking that school or that place or that collective, however you want to put it, for anything and everything. It's all about me, 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 me. What a terrible lesson in life for these kids. And so I think that college athletics, while we're trying to do some good things for the kids, and it can be good, it can also be really detrimental. When you start to think of all the way across the country, every kid across in every sport across the country, we are teaching these kids that it's not about us. It's not about we. It's about you. It's me, me, me.
Oh,
what a terrible thing that's going to be for our country in another 15 to 20 years.
Man, that's right.
These college kids that are playing athletics, these are leaders of tomorrow. And if you're never committed to anybody or anything, and if the first time that adversity hits you, you pack up your bags and go run to the next place that'll tell you how great you are, that's a sad. You're not learning anything about how real life's going to be, because real life's going to punch you in the mouth.
Yep.
Willie Kemp got Willie's real life.
Yep.
His family, it's real life. You're going to lose a job. You're going to lose friends. You're going to lose family. This thing's hard, and relationships matter. People matter. It's a golden age of college baseball with talent, no doubt, coaching, facilities, travel, all those things are awesome. TV coverage, all of it's awesome. Now we've got guys who are able to make money in college baseball, and our scholarships are going to go up, and I think those are all great. But if we lose sight of the relationships and we lose sight of teammates are forever, and it becomes all about me, 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 and not about we, then I think you've totally screwed it up, because what you'll end up remembering 20 years from now is you're going to remember the relationships you have, and you're going to remember the successes that you have as a team, and you're going to remember it's not going to be about you. You're going to remember, man, that was the best time of my life, being able to enjoy this game, growing up together. And guys got to keep that in mind, because if they don't, they'll make really bad decisions, and they'll lose the important things that are coming down the pike.
That's right. That's right. Coach Thompson, I sit there and I listen to you, and I think, boy, what a sad. I think of this old man at the end of his life who never settled down, and what you're describing sounds like a sad, lonely life. And for the young guys out there listening, boy, guys, listen to this guy. 30 years in Waco, he's at the top. It's about relationships. It's not just about the transactions, and it's not having. Hey, I got a text thread with my boys almost daily, and former teammates, and it's always connected. And to not put that as a priority, to me, doesn't seem like it's baseball.
Well, it's not, and seriously. Baseball is such a great game where you have to learn to deal with failure, where you're not going to be successful every day. This game's going to punch you in the mouth. This game teaches you so much about how real life is going to be. Marriage isn't going to be easy, kids. I'll tell you. You're going to love her, and you're going to want to marry her, and you're going to marry her, and then it's not going to be easy. There's going to be some hard things to go through. Raising a family, it's not going to be easy. Keeping a good job and developing your career, it's not going to be easy. And so I think when we always search out for just something that's always better, and we let ourselves be sold on things that don't matter, that are superficial, we can lose the rest of it. So I think I'm convinced that here's the deal. I'm convinced that this place at Baylor, good Lord's going to bring us the right players. I've got the right staff. I've got an unbelievable staff of people that are around me. I've got unbelievable coaches who are of great history at developing players, who are really good people, and I've known them for a really long time. And they're gonna go out and we're gonna work. And because we're gonna work, and because we're at a good place, this is not a hard place to sell players to. The good Lord's going to bring us the right players. We don't have to sell our soul for anything. We just have to take care of the kids that we get entrusted into our program and do the very best we can with them. And sometimes things are difficult, I mean, um, you know, uh, you know, getting down to a roster limit. Golly, it's agonizing, man. It's agonizing. I mean, for coaches, for me it is, and because you're affecting some kid's life. And I think that that's good. It needs to be that way. We've got to keep that. We've got to keep the players the focus. But what is college really about? College is about preparing you for being successful the rest of your life.
Amen.
And whatever you do, what are college athletics about? It's about preparing you to chase your dreams, but also to be ready to know how to be a part of a team, to work together for common goals, to fight through adversity, to persevere. That's what this is all about. And so that's the way that we look at it, and we're blessed that we'll be blessed to have really good players and really good kids, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to keep investing in them.
Heck yeah. Talking with Coach Thompson here. A few more minutes here on the Baseball Forward podcast. Coach Thompson of the Baylor Bears. I want to get specific baseball advice from you, Coach. Baseball Forward, our MO is elevating the next generation of ball players and coaches. And boy, what a beautiful game we play, right? And we coach, and there's just not a better game in the world. So I want to know, when I say elevating the next generation, for the players, Coach, what advice do you have for the young men out there coming up in the game today?
Interesting. I tell you this, man. I think it's fun. It's an interesting time, because I think never before have the young kids ever played more games than these kids get to play now.
That's a fact.
But I think probably also never before have kids not taken the games as the joy that we used to have. I mean, game day when I played, and when I was in high school, I played 30 games of American Legion ball in the summer. You don't think every one of those 30 games was special?
Yeah.
How many times do we have kids playing 8, 10, 12 years old playing select baseball, and they're playing 4 or 5 games a week, and you lose the joy of it playing. I tell you, you got to enjoy practice. You've got to enjoy development. You've got to, and I would encourage parents, there's a point and a place for lessons, and there's a point and a place for all these things, of getting kids around other people who can help them go. But if your kid's not wanting to get out there and do it on his own and play catch in the yard and set up a wiffle ball game and to do all these things on their own, they probably don't love it enough, And sometimes, I think sometimes we make mistakes in how much money we spend developing players, trying to get a college education or a college degree, trying to become the next big leaguer. And golly, if we would have just saved a little bit of our money over the course of time, we'd probably be able to pay for that education or pay for whatever. I want kids to love the game, and so there's ways to help. You got to get them around positive people. You got to get them around positive coaches, but I think it's really important for kids to be around other kids that have like-mindedness. But I don't think it should be everything either. I want kids to play all sports. I love guys to play football, basketball, baseball, whatever. I mean, soccer, I don't care. It all translates, man.
That's right.
Athleticism translates, and development, and sometimes, playing basketball, great team game. Football is a great team game. Those are all things that translate. So just you've got to love the game, but you've got, if your kid's not asking you to go to the cage and hit as a parent, golly,
That's a problem.
Maybe we need to get out in the backyard.
Yep.
Let's get out in the backyard. Let's go play catch. And I'll tell you this. I had a dad that did that, and here I am on the verge of being 60 years old, and I'll never forget it. You don't ever forget it. You don't forget that your dad would go and do those things with you. You don't forget that, hey, man, mom and dad helped me chase my goals and dreams. I would tell parents to enjoy every minute of it. But they're making lifetime memories with their kids. And those kids will know their love from that. So go play catch with your kid. Go get out in the backyard, throw him some BP. Stay away from the windows. Get to a cage and do those things. But there's lots of things you can learn. And with the internet, my gosh, you can pull up all kinds of things that you can do as a parent right on the internet and stuff. And okay, let's go do this. Let's try this. Have fun with your kids. Enjoy being a kid with your kid too. As a parent.
I like that. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. Hey, one of my favorite things to do, go hit fungos and fly balls to my boy. I'm like, it is the most fun thing in the world to hit to those guys. And they're like, hey, Dad, can we go hit? I'm like, I feel like I'm winning right there.
Yeah, there you are winning. And your kid wants to be around you doing it. You are winning.
Wow.
Yeah. Get out there and roll them ground balls. Get up there and throw them fly balls. They go out for football passes, and you're throwing them passes, and they're working on catching and how to handle the glove and how to do. Your kid's developing as a player, and he doesn't even know it.
That's right.
And at the same time, you're having fun, one-on-one parent, and your kid's making lifetime memories.
Yep.
You'll remember that. They will remember that. And when we think about it as parents, we remember when our parents would do those things with us or not do them with us. And so, not enough sandlot baseball games being played,
Yep.
And when I was a kid, that's all we had, man. We went and, summertime, my gosh, it was at the baseball field, and okay, it's 3-on-3 or whatever, and we got two guys hitting and ghost runner on first base.
Oh, ghost runner.
There's got to be a lot of that. There needs to be that. So
I miss the good old ghost runners, Coach Thompson. Yeah. Coach Thompson, the Baylor Bears. I got one more question for you, sir. What an enjoyable conversation too. I feel like you can learn a lot from other people, okay? And especially people that have been through what you're wanting to go through. So when you look back at your baseball life so far, and you got a lot of baseball life left in you, sir, do you have any regrets on your baseball life?
I don't know that I do. I was a small town kid from Goodland, Kansas,
Nice.
And we didn't even have high school baseball. I didn't even have it. My experience was playing 30 games of American Legion ball in the summertime against other schools and other towns that didn't have high school baseball either. So, I got a chance to go play some junior college ball. I got a chance to finish and get my degree at Fort Hays State University in Kansas, Division II school. Played there. I knew I wanted to coach. I had coaches who had impacted my life. Rocky Welton was a high school wrestling coach that to this day is somebody so special to me. Wow. And Rocky's long gone. Rocky's passed away, but Rocky's impact is huge. And Pat Harrison, coaches who had impacted my life, my dad. And so, I was blessed that God opened the door for me to get in to start college coaching. My first college job was at Mississippi State University as a graduate assistant for Ron Polk. And I'll never forget how that happened. Wow. And God's got a plan. I'm from Goodland, Kansas, playing Division II ball at Fort Hays State University in Kansas. And I sent out resumes because Pat Harrison, who was the assistant at Oklahoma, Oral Roberts, head coach at Ole Miss, Pepperdine over the years, Pat had said, this is how you get into the game. Send your resumes to these 40 people. Wow. Here's how to write your resume. Here's how to do a cover letter. Tell them I recommended you for the job as a graduate assistant. I sent those resumes out on a Monday, and on Wednesday night, Ron Polk from Mississippi State, the godfather of college baseball in my book, calls me up at the house, and he says, so you want to be a graduate assistant? And I said, yes, sir. He says, well, if you're good enough for Pat Harrison, you're good enough for me. We'd like to have you next year. I about flipped out.
I have goosebumps right now.
I mean, dude, at the time,
I got the.
how can you explain it? Good Lord worked that out. I'm from Goodland, Kansas. We don't even play baseball. We didn't even play it hard. I mean, and so I got to go to Mississippi State and started my career in 1990. Went to Radford Free University for a year, back to Mississippi State full time. Wow. The coaching cutback comes into effect. Went to Auburn, went to the World Series at Mississippi State and Auburn. Came to Baylor in 1995. Been to the World Series here. Was a scout with the Kansas City Royals for a year. Drafted a first-round draft pick.
Who was that, Coach? Who was that?
Hunter Dozier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Hunter was our guy. I was with the Royals for a year and drafted 5 players in the top 20 rounds of the draft. 2 of them made the big leagues, and the Royals spent $3 million signing my players. And
let's go.
And it was awesome, right? But I wanted to be back on the field. I wanted to be around the players every day, and so took the job at McLennan, and we helped get that thing going to being what it is, and then the opportunity opened back up for me to come back to Baylor. Do I have any regrets? How can I have any regrets?
Wow.
I've got a beautiful family. I haven't been to work a day in my life. I'm getting a chance to be around players and make relationships and grow people. Good Lord's been blessed me, and I just tell guys to trust the process. I tell coaches out there, trust the process. Good Lord's got you. He's got you right where he wants you at this time. Do the best you can where you're at with what you got. Treat people right, and good things will happen. Good opportunities will keep happening for people and coaches, and but you're right where you're supposed to be, and that's at least that's the way it's worked for me. And now the only I want to win national championships. I'll tell you that. Do I got to regret? We've only won once.
Let's go.
I'd like to win another one. That was a lot of fun, and but I don't want to sell my soul to do it either. I want to have an investment in people. So,
Coach Mitch Thompson, I hope you understand how much I respect you, sir. It is a blast talking to you. You do it the right way. I would love for my boys to play for you. That's a testament to your character. And why don't you take us out on the Baseball Forward podcast and let the audience know something great about Baylor baseball?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Ross. And I got great respect for you and Coach Schwanke. And when Jim mentioned about being on this, what a great opportunity. You guys are doing great things.
Oh, thank you.
Keep going. Keep meeting and visiting with other people and getting ideas and things, and keep passing that stuff on. We've got a great game, and I'm blessed to be here at Baylor. What a great place with great people, and kids get an education for a lifetime here, the world-class education, and they can do it in a place where you can grow your faith and still play at the highest level of college baseball in the biggest environments. Chase your dreams. There's been lots of great success stories come through here. I mean, National League Rookies of the Year, Jason Jennings, College Player of the Year. What do you want to accomplish? You can accomplish anything here. So, those are all great things. But what a great game we have. College baseball is great. But the lessons that people learn through this game are lessons of a lifetime. And if they'll make it about relationships and make it about we instead of me, life's going to be a whole lot better. Thanks for having me. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to come visit with you, and I appreciate it. And I wish you guys continued success.
You're the man. Thank you very much. Coach Mitch Thompson of the Baylor Bears.
Thanks, Ross.